Hello. Welcome to a movie chat here with Tom Hunyadi and Tim Allen. And I really don't have much to talk about. That's why I'm hoping these guys do it. Nothing's really different from the last week, unless you want me to talk all about Lost in Space, which is what I got here. But other than that,
So
hello, David.
that's your warning. Joe's got not much to talk about.
Yeah. Well, you missed it, Tom, last week. But last week it'd been 2 months since we'd done one of these, and Joe still didn't have anything to talk about.
No, I got a lot of things, just not movie related.
Right.
Yeah, I don't. I saw some Jack Lemmon movie, but like when I say I saw some Jack Lemmon movie, I'm talking about it was on, I think, TCM, and it was just bits of it. I forget what it was called. It the something about men and women, the war between men and women, or something like that.
Like Divorce American Style or something like that.
It was the title was something about men.
How to murder your wife or something.
Nope. And it was about him being a guy that didn't want to be married, and he went blind. He was an artist that went blind to something, and then he wound up having a wife and maybe a child and a dog and all this stuff. And it looked like it was a comedy at the beginning, but I didn't watch enough of it. Just telling you there. Hello to everybody that's here, the few people that we have here. So, guys, what have you been up to recently? Well, I know Tom hasn't been here in a long while. Tim was here last week.
I haven't picked up much in the Blu-ray department. I did pick up, and I watched this last night because I hadn't seen it in a while, and that's Winchester 73 with our good buddy Jimmy Stewart. I really like this a lot. I forgot how much I like this one. Even though it stars Jimmy Stewart, the Winchester rifle is probably the star of the show because it just goes around and around and around until it ends in the hands of the rifle owner. And then, I usually try to pick up movies that came out in the year I was born. So I picked up this one with Burt Reynolds, White Lightning. So looking for, I haven't watched this yet. So, and there's a couple sequels to this character that he plays in this film. And then lastly, in the media department, I picked up last year's best winner and my favorite film of last year called Anora.
Which I heard of, but didn't see it.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Really like this. So I'm going to watch this again soon. And then in April, I saw 11 films in the theater. And I won't talk about each one, but
I'll do a brief.
Yeah, I'll be brief. But first movie I saw was a movie called Death of a Unicorn, which I think was an A24 film. And that was a lot of fun. Remember that show, Press Your Luck? With no whammies. Yeah. So there's a movie called The Luckiest Man in America. And what it is, it's about the guy that memorized the board and went on the show and he won over $100,000. He was the biggest game show winner of all time at that point in time in game shows. So that was pretty good. I saw a couple reissue films that got reissued into theaters. One was an animated film called Princess Mononoke, a Japanese animation film. 1-to-1, obviously, Joe. So, Tim, did you ever get to see 1-to-1 in the theater?
I didn't.
No?
I haven't. No.
That's too bad. A war film directed by the guy that did Civil War. This one was called Warfare. This was I think, took place in 2006 during the Iraq War. Just about a group of soldiers that got themselves into a situation that they had to get themselves out of, and done very well. Done very, very well. This might have been my underdog sleeper favorite of the month, and it's called The Ugly Stepsister. Now, what this was is a Norwegian-Swedish film. It's essentially like a Cinderella film, but it's told in the point of view of the ugly stepsister and all the things that her mother made her go through to try to win the heart of the prince. And it takes place in probably the 1800s, I want to say. And there's a few things where the ugly stepsister had to go through, plastic surgery wise, like getting a nose job without any anesthesia and getting new eyelashes that are sewn in, and they show And
Horrible.
so, yeah, so she's going through all this pain and suffering just to try to win the love and affection of the prince. So that was a lot of fun. The big movie of the month was called Sinners, which, if you don't know, is it's a vampire film. And this one was a lot of genres. It's heavy music wise as well. But if you see the film, you'll understand why. So I really enjoyed that film. I did see they re-released Star Wars Episode 3, The Revenge of the Sith, in theaters for the 20th anniversary, so I saw that. This one I really enjoyed too. This was Cheech and Chong's last movie. What this was a documentary on Cheech and Chong, and they're getting together, their history and why they stopped making films together, and that was done very well as well. Just over 2 hours. Maybe just a touch long, but it was done very well. And then the last movie that I saw yesterday on the last day of the month was called The Legend of Ochi, which was a coming of age type of adventure movie that you kind of would have saw in the late 70s and in the 80s. And the cool thing about this is they used for the Ochi, which the Legend of Ochi's, their characters are creatures that live in the forest, and they use real life puppets in it, and it just made it feel like I was watching a movie in the 80s, which was just it was just great to see that, and then not see a film rely on CGI for those kind of special effects. So yeah, that was it was a busy month. I take advantage of I'm part of the A-listers club for AMC. And I think it's like $20 a month, and you get to see 3 movies a week. So you gotta take advantage. You gotta take advantage of that, right? And I think you're muted, Joe. You're muted, Joe.
Wow, 3 movies a week. I haven't seen 3 movies a week since the 1980s. I remember going a lot in the 1980s.
Yeah.
But wow,
so, yep.
That's Tim. That's got to be a tough act to follow.
Well, yeah. I haven't seen that many films this week, but I realized I didn't show a few DVDs that I bought like during the last couple months that I hadn't shown. So I'll show those and talk about a couple movies. But all for $1. Blazing Saddles.
Excellent.
Did you see?
I've never actually even seen Blazing Saddles. Believe it.
Wow.
So, on my list.
Okay. Let us know what you think of it.
Yeah. Grindhouse, which I've never seen this cut of the movie. I've seen Kill Bill, and I've seen, I forget what the other one even is, but I haven't ever seen, Grindhouse as it was shown in theaters. So I picked that up for $1.
So what? That's going to have Death Proof, the short version of Death Proof in it, then?
Yeah, it's the short version of Death Proof, and
what's the other one?
I don't know. It's so small I can't even see it on
here. I can't remember something. Alien Planet Terror.
Yeah, Planet Terror. Yeah,
right.
I haven't seen either one in a long time, and I've never seen this cut. So
the best part about that is the DVD and the film seen in the theater was the fake trailers in there.
Yeah, well, they gave you as extras on the films anyway. So all I'm seeing is short films here. But
was that one of Thanksgiving trailer? Was there?
Thanksgiving and Machete.
But people get too mixed up with that. They think that's really the film Thanksgiving that eventually came out. It has nothing to do with that trailer.
Yeah, but this was one of the best bargains for a DVD I ever got. I walked up to the counter, and I call her the dollar lady. They're supposed to either make up a price for box sets and stuff if it's not priced, or DVD is supposed to be $3 anyway. She charged me $1 for each of those two, and she charged me $1 for this.
Oh wow! Yeah, that's a score.
The 8-film Harry Potter set on Blu-ray. I got it for $1.
That's a score.
Can't really deals, man. It's amazing.
Can't really do much better than that.
No, except for free.
Yeah, except for free, you can't really do much better than that. So yeah, I got that.
I bought that for my girlfriend. She likes those movies, God. And it cost me, I don't know, not that much. It was more than that when I got it.
And then I watched a couple something weird movies, nothing great. I watched Cinderella and Goldilocks and the Three Bears. You can just guess what they are. And I watched a movie just now. This would be on my list for the worst movies ever made. It's called The Sin Syndicate. It doesn't even say who made it. There's no credits except for the 4 lead actresses in the whole movie. No other credits whatsoever. And this thing is shot MOS without sound, but they have voices like people are talking, but they're not showing the other person or anything. They're showing the people, and they're just standing there like this, and they're talking. And it's just the whole movie is like, and it's probably 80% stock footage and strippers that aren't actually stripping, because there's hardly any nudity in this thing at all. Wow. And I'm like, well, what's the point of this movie? It's awful. Exactly. But anyway,
because it's something weird. That's why.
Yeah, it's something weird. So, and other than that, I've only watched 2 other movies this week. I didn't know what to expect of this, and I've watched it, and I still don't know if I really like it. It's a Warner Archives. It's The Sellout with Richard Widmark and Oliver Reed. It's a mid-70s kind of spy kind of movie, and it's one of these movies where nobody in it is a really nice person. I suppose Richard Widmark is the nicest person in it, which is hard to believe because he never played a nice guy ever. But he's the nicest guy in this movie. Everybody's just horrible in this movie.
Wow.
No, I don't know. But yeah, Warner Archive, Burn on Demand, which is why I bought it, and I don't know what to make of this either. Albert Finney, Saturday Night and Sunday Morning, British film from 1962. Apparently, this is the film that launched Albert Finney's career. But oh my God, there were these 2 guys waiting to beat him up, and I couldn't wait till they did it.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
He was not a nice guy.
Well, I mean, that's considered one of the angry young man type films that the Brits did so well. Yeah,
but one of the other major characters in it, I forget his name, but was the guy that played the sidekick in A Hard Day's Night, is in this film.
Yeah, I don't know the guy's name.
Yeah, the manager's sidekick. No, it's not him. It's not him. Wait a minute, it's not him. But he is in A Hard Day's Night. I just can't remember where. Maybe the manager. He's the manager, actually. The guy that plays the manager is
Norm Rosington.
Is that his name? Anyway, he's in this film as well.
Something Rosington. Maybe his name's not Norman. I think the last name is Rosington.
I get Leonard Maltin gave it 3.5 stars. I might give it a little less.
Yeah, and remember that's out of 4 because everybody today thinks 5. Yeah. You gotta use.
It's just so mean spirited, Right. He's just not a nice guy. Anyway, that's everything I've seen in the last week.
Tim, your hair. Beatletti likes your hair. Okay.
Oh. Well, thanks, Beatletti. I need a haircut really badly. But
so what are we talking about thus before here? I don't know.
Talking about the Grindhouse. Talking about the Japanese version of the Grindhouse. Which I don't have, so I couldn't tell you.
I don't know, but I have them both on Blu-ray anyway in their real forms. I just want to see the theatrical version. Which is way shorter, which is why I bought. And that's rare. You don't see that very often.
You don't get to see the lap dance in there. I understand. And there's a lap dance, I think, in the long version of Death Proof that's not in the short version, if you're interested in that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but all good Grindhouse films, I think it got cut and whatever, and it made it look like the scene was cut at some point.
It's been a while.
Yeah. But anyway, so
I'm trying to understand this exactly, James. So what's the story on companies not releasing DVDs, Blu-rays, and 4Ks, only a few selected titles? What does that mean? That some companies are not releasing certain things on physical media? Is that it?
Probably, if anything, I haven't heard this. I mean, I'll have to look and see if there's an article on this or anything, but probably, companies only want to release sure sell-fire hits that people will want to buy, like the big box office
They could
films.
screw themselves.
I hope that's not true. But
screw yourself. This world's coming apart in every way, shape, and form.
Largely because most retailers have stopped carrying them. None of your chain stores carry them anymore. None of your Walmarts. Walmart has a little tiny section. Target almost doesn't carry any physical media anymore.
Everything's done. I was in Best
Buy. They don't want this thing that happened in the 70s or in the 80s and 90s with VHS and DVD and stuff, where there's all these budget bins and stuff. They don't want that, so they're not pressing very many, or none at all.
But the dealers, like the Best Buys and whatnot, they're buying them at the suggested price, and then they charge whatever they want to. So I mean, it's not the studio's fault that they're in the dollar bins or anything like that.
No. No, but the studios have made too many for the most part. That's why.
I mean, if they don't press if they don't do if they don't press a million discs, then there shouldn't be that situation.
They think streaming is profitable for some reason. They're wrong, but that's what they think.
Criterion has been showing no reason to stop releasing titles. Like I said, this one just came out Tuesday.
It's going to the boutique market. Yeah, and I think it will stay there at least for quite a long time.
And when Amazon stops selling physical media, I think that's when we really need to start worrying.
To me, everything that people still want it. I know it's not selling as much, but it's still selling a lot. Yeah. I think it's not like it's down to they're only selling 10,000 copies worldwide a year or something like that. It's in the millions or billions, whatever.
Right, and I think it'll have its renaissance just like vinyl did. So.
And it's online. That's all. Everything's online. Like these things.
Last year, there were more physical media titles released than any other year in the history of physical media.
There you go.
Yeah, I've been hearing this.
They're all limited.
Right?
As opposed to finding 1,000 copies at your local Walmart.
Yeah, and that's fine. You just have to know where to purchase the items, whether it's on like the Severin or Arrow. If you gotta go to their website, Criterion or whatever, or if you're lucky enough that Amazon will have it as well. They'll sell most of those boutique label stuff, not all of them, but they'll sell most of them. And you can find them on Amazon.
CDs are getting to be the same way. The new Pete Ham acoustic demo CDs, they've done 1,000 copies, and that's it worldwide.
Yeah.
It's just, if you want it, buy it.
Yeah, a lot of these boutique labels, like Severin or whatever, they'll have like a limit of 3,000. That's usually, and if it sells out quick, maybe they'll get the rights to do another 3,000. But at the moment, that's all they have the right to sell is 3,000 copies.
Well, I still think, of course, I know that streaming is really popular now, but there's still always going to be people that like browsing, like holding things. Yes. You could see what happened with vinyl with young people, new generations. They love records, having a record.
The problem with streaming is they can alter the movies, and when they have been, same thing with music, and they have been, and they could take it away too. Oh, right. Oh, we're going to take this away from you now. Okay.
Right. So it's stupid. I mean, it's okay for a rental, I call it. Not really a rental, but it's okay just to watch it because you just want to watch a movie once and see the movie, but you don't want to own it, maybe. But still, it could be cut. Could be cut, like in the case of what was that French Connection? That was
right.
bleeping it or taking things out of it.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so I don't order as much on Amazon. There's still lots of things I want to get. A lot of them are upgrades, like these 3 things. Like, well, 2 of these are upgrades, quote, and one of them is first time. So, that Blu-ray of got Caveman on Blu-ray.
Was that Kino or Olive?
Olive.
Olive. Okay.
And then this is my first time for me. It's hard to see here. I got the glare. Godzilla -1. I decided to get. I don't know how many versions there are of this thing. They're gonna have black and white. They're gonna have this. I just got this one. You know, it's just kind of standard. Yeah, I think Blu-ray. Got some bonus features on it, and then I got a Criterion, which I can't believe I did. You know, I watched. I'll tell you. Remind me because I'm going to forget. I watched Dressed to Kill. Rewatched Dressed to Kill recently on inferior, in my opinion. Criterion compared to the MGM that I have. Anyway, Godzilla versus Biollante.
Yeah, I've been meaning to get that. How is that? Have you watched that yet? You've seen it before, right?
Like yesterday.
No, but I meant you've seen it before, though. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. I think it's okay. It's one of the better ones as far as this. You know, you got different eras: the '60s, the '70s. This is 1989. Right. It's a later one. It's a good one though. It's pretty good. It's this one.
Man in Suit.
Yeah, they still were doing Men in Suits then. But pretty. You know, by the time they get into the late '80s and '90s, they're pretty good quality. You know, not as cheesy as the '60s suits.
Okay.
You know.
All right. Well, that's on my Amazon wish list. I'll probably pick that up.
You know, I watched Dressed to Kill. I love that movie. The 1980 version is a Dressed to Kill movie, Sherlock Holmes movie. But anyway, Dressed to Kill, Michael Caine, Angie Dickinson, Nancy Allen. Saw it at the movies when it was brand new. I went on a date. You know, and one little story here I'll tell about it. You know, it's funny. I kept a journal from 1978 to 2000. Okay. And I remember, I have this great memories. I love the movie Dressed to Kill. And I always have this great memory. Oh, I saw it in the theater. I remember what a good movie it was. And then afterwards, you know, with my girlfriend, the girlfriend at the time, you know, making out afterwards and all this. I was 18, so, you know. Anyway, one time I looked in this journal just to get to look when I saw it. It said, we saw a lousy movie, terrible movie tonight called Dressed to Kill. I wrote in there. The hell, it's great. Anyway, but I watched it again. This is a little nitpick. It's a Criterion version. I got both versions, Criterion, and I think the other one's MGM. And I put the Criterion on, and you know, the beginning of the titles are like it's black with white titles, you know. And I saw a few little spot things. That's not the end of the world. But when I did after I watched the whole movie, I got it, and I had it in my mind. Having just watched the quality, I put on the MGM. I thought it was a little brighter. You know, it wasn't so. A lot of the Criterions that I watch seem a little darker than other ones, but whatever. I didn't have when I watched the MGM. Did not have the dots in the credits. Anyway, whatever. It is what it is. It looked like the extra features were kind of the same on them. But I think I had bought the MGM one first, and then when the Criterion came out, I was like, well, let me get the Criterion.
Yeah.
So that's something that I watched in addition to Lost in Space Robot, Danger, Warning, all this stuff. I'm still on season 3. And you know, I'm enjoying it the hell out of it, even though, of course, there's silly bits. I still can't for the life of me understand fans getting down on it so much. The 3rd season, I can't understand it. The 2nd season, oh yeah, I can understand that. 3rd one is a lot of Guy Williams featured. They give him a lot of time, more than there was before, and it's sometimes very less of Dr. Smith, which is you know, one of my favorite episodes, the favorite episode, the Antimatter Man. You got mostly Guy Williams show, and Smith. You don't even need Smith in that episode. They put him in there just perfunctory wise. I mean, he's got to be in there, but he's not really needed in there. What are you shaking your head about, Tim?
2 words for season 3: Carrot Man.
Oh, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. It's one episode out of like how many do they have?
Carrot Man.
and that's a hell of a lot of fun too.
I can just imagine them at the end of the episode, the last scene. They're all toasting with carrot juice right in their hand.
But you see, that's the same. That's the same mentality like all Yoko does is Scream.
Right. Oh yeah.
Yep. But in season 2, I wager there were a lot more carrot type men. That was that kind of thing in season 2. But anyway, and Ghost in Space, another scary one. It's pretty good. I thought was a good one. Anyway, so that's all I'm watching, and little bits and pieces of things here. I did a review on The Vampire from 1957, very generic title. There's a couple of movies named The Vampire, but this was a 50s one. Your local doctor down the street is turning into a vampire, that kind of thing in a suburban area of the 1950s, which is pretty charming. I love that stuff. To tell you the truth.
Yeah. Well, just for everybody that knows out there, everybody watching, I am on the last season of The Odd Couple. I finally finished the 4th season, and then now I'm on to the last season. And I got to tell you, for the most part, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the first half a little bit better than the second half. But it's pretty good. It's a pretty good season so far. A lot of guest appearances, a lot of guest stars in this 5th season. But the stories are pretty good, and the chemistry between Felix and Oscar are fantastic here. But
yeah, sure.
Though there's still with the one thing that I still kind of get that.
I'll never get this guy, but let him talk.
That irks me is they don't go into enough for me. They don't go enough into Felix's all his ailments. It's just like I wish they would have played on that more instead of him being just more annoying as a clean freak. I wish they would have done more.
He does that through the entire 5 seasons.
Once I've seen him do that, and then I will say
you've seen him do that one time
in the 5th season, only once. I will say that though, but in the 5th season they do go in that way a little bit more than they had in the previous seasons. So to me, he was just like annoying in the first 4 seasons. Now it's just like annoying because of all his ailments or whatever. It was more annoying, kind of like how he was in the movie.
Well, you keep on with that movie for this guy. You got to understand.
Is 10 times better than
the movie. Anybody who knows The Odd Couple will tell you.
No,
this is all opinion. Naturally, that Tony Randall and Jack Klugman are the Odd Couple. The movie was all right, but with Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau, but they ain't Felix and Oscar. Jack Lemmon, just Jack Lemmon. I don't know, but I like the movie enough. But he doesn't go as much. It is about his ailments and that thing at all in the movie. I mean, I think.
Well, it's
I don't know if you're really watching.
2-hour movie, but yeah, I'm really watching them. I'm not looking at my phone while I'm watching them. Not falling asleep.
Did you see the bowling episode yet?
Yes.
Well, his ailments. He's always hurting his back. It always goes out on him. His neck.
Okay, one episode.
One episode. You don't remember them. I've seen these things in 1970s.
Yeah.
Remember the baking contest in season 1? What happened in the baking contest? His back went out. Oscar had to lift him up to do the cooking.
Okay, one episode.
He said once his back went out. Back goes out all the time. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
I mentioned the bowling episode, and we got this guy, Doc Dacus, who's bowling with Boo Boo, and I tell you, eating a lot of that spaghetti. I could tell, and that.
Yeah, that was my comment on this thing. He must have been right after spaghetti night that they went.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, you don't bowl like that. But you had fun, right, Doc? That's the main thing.
Yeah.
I hope you had fun bowling.
Yeah, I was gonna bet them that neither one broke 100, and then they showed the score at the end. And of course, neither one even came close.
You do that thing where you kind of throw the ball onto the floor, bang. You're supposed to release it as roll it, from the beginning. So it's each calzone, but I haven't bowled in a long time. I used to enjoy it. Boy, there's a lot of comments here, but Wizard of Oz. What's all the Wizard of Oz stuff?
Well, it started with Beetle Eddie.
This here?
But yeah. So
I
the
don't
thing
care
with the
about
Wizard of Oz, that a lot of people don't realize is I mean, as good as the 1939 version is, it's not book accurate. Okay, I
Yeah.
mean, there's there's 20 books in the series or so. I mean, I'm probably exaggerating, but in the movie, yeah, I mean, it was a dream. But you know, unfortunately, I haven't read all of the books, so I can't speak of the whole dream aspect of it. But matter of fact, like I think the Ruby Red Slippers, I think that's like one thing. I don't think they were read in the books, right, Tim? I think they were.
I haven't read the book, so I don't know, but I
Yeah,
have seen
but
the 4 silent movies that they made. They
right,
made the Wizard of Oz and Woodsman of Oz.
right,
Blah, blah,
right. There is a
blah.
reason why there are documentaries on the Wizard of Oz and why they don't do sequels and why other studios it's just ruined. I mean, like I said, I mean,
Yeah.
as great as that 39 class movie is, it's just it ruined any chance of anybody doing like the book series or anything like that.
Yeah.
Just because that 39 version is so beloved. Kind of like in
Yeah.
the way of Willy Wonka, that original version is not book accurate, but when they do, when what's his name does it with Johnny Depp, I mean, that's a little bit more book accurate, but that version with Jimmy R. Wilder, I mean, it's so beloved that you can't do anything to change it.
You want to hear a story about the Wizard of Oz that I've always found? I love like sort of karma, those sorts of things. When they were making the movie, they needed an old coat for the wizard when he's the carnival guy. And
Right.
they looked through their wardrobe in the studio and they couldn't find anything. So they went to like this thrift shop and they found this coat and they're like, this would be perfect. Look at it. It's the right vintage. It's blah, 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 blah. And so they buy it and they bring it to, I forgot who played the wizard. But they bring it to him. He tries it on. It's a good fit and everything. They're taking off them and they look and there's a tag on the collar. And on the tag is written L. Baum. And they're like, no. Well, L. Frank Baum's wife was still alive. And they took the coat to her and they showed it to her. And they said, yep, that's Frank's coat.
Oh, wow.
So in the Wizard of Oz, the wizard is, before he's a wizard, when he's just the carny guy, is wearing the author's coat.
No kidding. Wow.
Yep.
Well, that's interesting.
I always love that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I always say I like biopics to be kind of accurate, but I'm not saying this is what we're discussing necessarily, but I do like movies sometimes being different than the book. Sometimes, movies are better than the book, or vice versa. Sometimes the book is better than the movie. It's all a matter of opinion. I think Planet of the Apes. I think the movie is much better than the book.
Right.
I think Jaws is better than the book. That's just two big movies that I know, of course, in the vicinity. I like the Book of Salem's Lot better than the movie. It's horror vicinity. So, hi, Danny. What Danny? Is it Danny here? Hi, Danny. I know.
Maybe just spreading that. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, and that's our show. that's really what we're talking about. All the people in the teens, people that are the viewers in the teens that are watching this. Anyway, yeah, that's it. I'm trying to think what else. I mean, not saying I'm going to end it, but discussion wise, I found out that Taxi Driver is going to be playing at that theater that shows old movies.
Oh, great.
But I can't see it at the time because it's a lot of times they put them on Tuesday nights when I got to take that ride to hell with my girlfriend, and stuff. So
that place.
That detention.
There's a place where Joe will go.
Yeah.
Then
I don't know. They have all kinds of movies. Some of them I wouldn't mind going to see if it was a little closer and if it was a good time. But yeah,
like they're showing Monty Python and the Holy Grail this coming Sunday. Only one showing, on a day that I work, so there's no chance that I can go see it, but it sucks. But because I would love to see Monty Python and the Holy Grail in the theater.
If it's that important, you phone it in.
Once, a long time ago, when it was midnight movies and colleges used to show movies. I saw it at the University of Buffalo, a midnight movie, and had no idea what to expect. Had never seen it. Had never, this is the early 80s, VCRs were sort of becoming a thing. I'd never seen it. And to not see that movie before and to see it on a big screen, I mean, the audience is in tears before the movie starts. Just the damn
I know.
just the credits. I mean, if you don't know they're coming, you're just like, oh my God.
Right.
It is brilliant. It was great.
Wick. Also Wick.
I don't know if there's anything coming even in the theater that I want to see, to tell you the truth. That's nothing new for me, but it would be nice once in a while. We want to go to a movie, but we don't know what it is, and sometimes we just take a chance and we like it. So we've seen some movies like that we enjoyed, even though we didn't know what they were going in. What's Rocky Horror? Basement. What's that? So did you wind up doing all the routines involved with Rocky Horror and acting it out?
Not if it was his first time.
Right.
So let's talk about Brian De Palma a little bit. What do you think of Brian De Palma as a director? Because I have to see Interest to Kill again.
He's a Hall of Fame director, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I really like him. People always say, he's Hitchcock copying. I don't know. Is he exactly copying from Hitchcock?
He just gets influence from Hitchcock, and he makes it his own. I mean, kind of in the same way Tarantino does the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, I used to see almost every movie for a while that he did, but not so much anymore.
I think he's like the second prolific behind Spielberg when it comes to amount of films he's directed. In that, like that they call them like the film school generation with De Palma, Spielberg, Scorsese, Milios, and George Lucas, and Coppola. I think he's like second behind Spielberg with most films directed in his filmography.
Because what's that movie with John Lithgow that I hated?
One. I don't know if I've ever seen a Brian De Palma film, and I'm not kidding.
You've seen the first Mission Impossible film?
Is that a De Palma film? I didn't like it very much, but I have seen it today.
Yeah, the first Mission Impossible film with Tom Cruise is a Brian De Palma film. Scarface is a Brian De Palma film. Carlito's Way is a Brian De Palma.
Yeah, I love Carlito's Way. I love that. And Scarface.
Bonfire of the Vanities is probably the worst Brian De Palma film. Sisters, and they're from the early 70s. Brian De Palma film.
Raising Cain, that's the one.
Yeah, Raising Cain. Carrie, probably his most famous.
Not a horror guy. Haven't ever seen Carrie. I'm serious. I don't know.
Obsession, we got Dressed to Kill. Blowout is another fantastic Brian De Palma film. So The Untouchables is a Brian De Palma film.
Okay, I saw The Untouchables once in the theater. Yeah, I have seen that.
Then you got Casualties of War with Michael J. Fox and Sean Penn. Yeah. Brian De Palma film. So I think he's like I said, I think he's a Hall of Fame director, and he's excellent. I mean, he does have bad movies. I think he did have a stretch of bad movies in the 90s. But again, I mean, I think 70s and throughout the 80s, I think he's done a lot of really good, solid work. Snake Eyes with Nicolas Cage was another Brian De Palma film.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. But you got to remember, I watch mostly older films. So, older meaning, early 60s and before is my wheelhouse for film.
There's a great trilogy of films that he did with early on in his career with Robert De Niro. One, The Wedding Party, Greetings, and Hi Mom, that are really fun, exploitation films, and those are pretty good, pretty good.
So too bad Doc can't come up. Doc, you want to talk about it? You could always come up here, because you could talk about movies and TV things. Just let me know sometime.
Yeah, stop eating your spaghetti dinners and
be more like me these days. No bread, no pasta, no sugar.
Yeah.
Ay vey. Well, I don't know. We're running out of things here. 62 was the weirdest year for films. Such as?
I don't know, but if Saturday night and Sunday morning is any example, I can't disagree too much.
I'll look up your films.
Whatever happened to Baby Jane, Cape Fear, those are two for 62.
I mean, you got The Longest Day, you got To Kill a Mockingbird, you got Lawrence of Arabia, you got Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, The Manchurian Candidate, Lolita, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, Brando's Mutiny on the Bounty. I mean, Birdman of Alcatraz, Dr. No.
62. That's the year that started it all.
Days of Wine and Roses, fantastic film.
Sure.
A couple great foreign films. You got Sanjuro by Akira Kurosawa, and you got Jules and Jim by Truffaut. I think 62 got some really good stuff.
Well, I don't know. Because in all fairness, he said weirdest. He didn't say no films, but not sure. Weirdest how.
Yeah. James, no. Bang the Drum Slowly, I don't think is based on a true story.
Oh, I don't know, but there's got to be Chief Brody dolls. Figures. I'm sorry I said doll. It's figures. Let's face it. There's got to be. Maybe there just weren't any in that particular store I was in. You meant epic films. Lawrence of Arabia.
You can't get any more epic than Lawrence of Arabia.
No, Lawrence of Arabia is one of the first films I ever watched on Laserdisc, and I was like, "Ooh, I like Laserdisc."
I still haven't seen it. I'm going to see it.
Brando's Mutiny on the Bounty is pretty epic as well, but it's not highly regarded as one of his better films. The Longest Day is somewhat epic. So
it's long. I don't know if it's epic.
Yeah.
No, that's Beatles are mentioned in Goldfinger. Best Bond film.
No, I expect you to die.
Yeah. Well, I haven't watched those in a while either, man.
Yeah, I need to do a Bond marathon.
Yeah, we're gonna have to find another time other than this time, I think, for these things. I can't, it can't. Yeah, I could mention that too. King of Kings, right? I like religious movies, Bible type movies. But I used to watch King of Kings on TV when I was a kid all the time. It was on the 4:30 movie in 2 parts, 2 days. And I used to like watching it every year when they put it on around Easter. I watched a good chunk of it the other day. It was on, I think it was Easter Sunday or sometime.
Yeah.
And it was on. I watched it on Turner, uninterrupted. I watched about an hour of it. I'm like, I don't think I dig this movie. I don't think I need to see it ever again or anything. I don't know. Although I do like Jeffrey Hunter. He's my Jesus. Sorry.
Criterion many years ago released the silent version of King of Kings.
Yeah, that's got some pretty amazing things in it. Some of those old silent movies got some amazing
that a
things.
long time ago when Kino first put it out on VHS. I saw it.
I did see it, and I thought for its time there was some interesting effects in there and things. You know, you don't think it rains in any Bond movie? I don't know. I never thought of it. Bond lost it where all the gizmos were actually invented. I'm not sure I got you on that one. I think it just really started taking off with that, with Goldfinger and a lot of gizmos. You know, the car and everything. But I don't know. I mean, gizmos, unless you mean later on they got out of control. I don't know. I don't know. Bond is so, there's something about it when you watch the Bond movies. They're really of a period, especially the early ones, they're of a time. I can't say that. No Charlton Heston in it, so I can't say I prefer the silent version of Ten Commandments. And I thought that, Tom talking about 11 movies was going to take up too much time.
No. I went quick because I didn't want it to take up too much time.
Well, we could have used it to take up time.
I guess. How about that 1-to-1 film, Joe?
I think it was Beatles related, but because we're desperate, though. What is there to say about it, really? I mean, I liked it. It's still too political for me, but then again, that was the period. So what do you expect? That's what it should be.
Were you ever a Cheech and Chong fan?
Not really. I mean, they're okay. I mean, I think they're humorous, but I never was a big fan. I think I saw that last Nice Dreams, was it? That was.
Well, it was their last as Cheech and Chong, because then they did the Corsican Brothers, I think it was, which didn't really have anything to do with the Cheech and Chong characters. But I was surprised that they really didn't talk about them doing other people's films, like After Hours. You know, they didn't talk about appearing in that film or any of the other films that they appeared in that weren't a Cheech and Chong film. So,
yeah, I like them as a couple of stoners, you know. Yeah, there's a lot of them. Let me start with Wired, John Belushi, that I walked out on that movie. That's one that I hated that. Who's the one that said, was it Tim, was it you who liked Rocket Man?
I did like Rocket Man. I might be the only one. I liked it better than the Queen movie because it didn't. What I hate about the Queen movie is there was the timing. It was so out of sequence. Where Rocket Man had no professions of being. Professions, the wrong word. It had no. Wasn't trying to be a documentary, you know. It was telling Elton John's story in a non-linear fashion. So I didn't mind that everything was out of sequence. It wasn't supposed to be. It was a musical, you know, where the Queen movie was supposed to be factual, and yet, you know, they're in the middle of recording The Game, and all of a sudden Freddie Mercury comes up with boom, 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 which was, you know, 2 years earlier than that, at least, maybe 3. You know, I'm like, okay, I can't deal with this, you know. And that's why I liked Rocket Man, because I thought the Elton guy was good, and they weren't trying to do a serious, okay, this is exactly what happened. They were just trying to show highlights of his life, basically.
Yeah, I gotta say though, I watched the first 45 minutes of that Elton documentary on Disney Plus, and they showed some fantastic early footage of Elton from the early 70s. Fantastic stuff. I definitely need to finish watching that.
Well, thank you, Beetle.
Didn't they? But in the movie, though, didn't they say that Elton John took Lennon's name? They took that he took John, his last name John after John Lennon.
Somebody told me that.
They might have. Again, I don't take that movie is credible. It doesn't seem. It's not, to me. It's not the kind of movie that's trying to be credible. Whereas the Queen movie is. This is a musical about Elton John's life. It's a musical. It's not a docudrama. It's a musical, and that to me is different, and that gives it more leeway. the way I look at it. Then
Well, that's the way to look at it, I guess. I worry about people uninitiated that see movies like that and think that's exactly how it happens. But then again, what do I care at this point? People think, I hear that all the time, even about Beatles stuff, and they watch something that wasn't true, or the way the whatever an agenda or narrative is, and they just go with it. So, we had an hour mark yet? Nope, 10 minutes. I'm trying to get to an hour here, folks.
Yeah, any comments or questions?
Yeah, anybody got anything to say?
The Cheech and Chong documentary did go into how they got George Harrison to play on Basketball Jones. So you had a little bit of a Beatle connection in there, but that was it.
How many takes did it take him to get it right? Just kidding.
Yeah. 1, 2.
You argued endlessly about Bohemian Rhapsody, saying it's all wrong. Then I tell them to watch 24-Hour Party People.
I don't get that. But I mean, I haven't even seen all of Bohemian Rhapsody. It used to be on in the break room at work once in a while. I had some cable channel that was running it. And so I've only saw 15 minutes at a time, basically. But every time I'm just staring at the screen going, what the hell? So, I just, and I'm not even a Queen fan, but I know enough.
Right. So the guy that played Borat, Sacha Baron Cohen, he was originally cast to play the singer. Why am I dropping his name?
Freddie?
Come on. Yeah, thank you. Freddie Mercury. And he wanted to get more into Freddie's personal life. But the rest of the band didn't want anything to do with that. So exit left for Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was the other thing I liked about the Elton film is they went into his sexual preferences, his drug abuse, his alcohol, all of that in the middle of a musical, which, and Elton was behind that. So, that's a good thing, that they were telling the truth.
Yep. So, was that a made-for-TV film, Joe?
What's that? Raise the Titanic?
Titanic? I seem to remember watching something like that on TV long time ago.
I can't. I don't think I've ever seen it. If I did, it was so long ago I don't remember it.
Oh, well, that's about it. This might be under an hour show. There wasn't much to talk about this week, I guess. Sometimes there's more than others, sometimes more people than others, but this is a bad time, actually, because a lot of people are at work still, both where I am and on the West Coast. Unless you're in England, there's no excuse. It's like 3 o'clock.
Oh, those Brits, they don't like films.
I don't think anybody does anymore. I really don't, judging by my channel and stuff. Not that I post things a lot, but there's not a lot of reaction even when I post things, unless they're the newest film. I've done the new films when they come out, The Flash or the Ricardo being the Ricardos or whatever the name. Like any new movies, Companion.
Did you see Companion? Did you see Companion?
Sure, I did a video on it.
I don't remember. Okay, did you like it? I
did enjoy it.
Yeah,
cool. That's an example of a movie that we just saw for the hell of it. I did enjoy it. It's also going to be all too real because.
There's already those kinds of things out there, just not as advanced as they were in the movie.
Now I know you're lying, Mike. Now I know you're lying. Is Conclave something you guys would watch?
It's something I did watch, and I thought it was something that was very, very, very good, and it's something that's going on right now.
In one ear and out the other. I think Raise the Titanic was a theatrical release.
Okay, but someone said they saw it on TV as well, kind of like I did.
True Confessions. Did we talk about this with Carol Lombard? That's
the former Mrs. Rhett Butler.
Yeah.
John Barrymore, one of his later roles.
She died in a plane crash.
Is Lionel Barrymore ever in anything where he's not in a wheelchair, cantankerous old prick? Is there ever any movie?
He had major health problems.
I know.
Starting in the middle, I mean, he had to be in a wheelchair. I saw somebody did a video on him, or he was part of a video the other day where they were like, he just got better and better, even though he couldn't even, move. He's sitting in a wheelchair and he's still really good.
Well, I'm not holding it against him. I'm just saying, it's obvious if the guy's always in a wheelchair that they must have to be, or he's not well. But it always seems like the same thing. Everything that I've seen.
I think he's in. You Can't Take It With You, right?
Yeah.
He
goes back to silent movies with his brother. He had 25 years of movies before he was in a wheelchair.
I'm sure.
He's in an early talkie. I forget the name of it, with Joan Crawford.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool. He didn't let that stop him being an actor. I mean, Father Carradine didn't let his arthritis stop him from being an actor. You see those hands?
I've seen him plenty of times. Oh yeah, especially a lot of horror movies. What are you kidding?
Oh man,
there's been plenty of U.S. TV sitcoms that were big screen movies in the U.S. Name one. I don't know. Get Smart, Fugitive.
Fugitive wasn't really a comedy, but Fugitive was.
Sitcoms. I'm sorry.
Lost in Space.
Yeah. Lost in Space wasn't supposed to be a comedy, but Batman was a comedy.
And isn't it funny how it's beloved, Lost in Space, and iconic even now? The TV show and the movie sucks, and the new TV show apparently nobody cares about it.
Right. Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
I mean, I would only like to see the theatrical one for Gary Oldman. He was the only reason why. But I think you had said something that you didn't care how he portrayed that character, Joe.
No, well, I mean, I'm used to Dr. Zachary Smith from Jonathan Harris on the TV show. I can't accept anybody else in there. I mean, didn't they have Dr. Smith as a female in the new one or something? I believe.
Wouldn't surprise me.
No. I just thought of another great, fantastic movie that started out as a TV comedy, McHale's Navy, and I'm kidding about fantastic movie. Horrible.
Car 54, Where Are You? Wasn't that the sitcom, and then they turned it into a movie?
Yeah.
Honeymooners.
Yeah, Honeymooners. They're all terrible. That's why there's not very many in America, because they're all awful.
The Brady Bunch was a pretty good movie. It was a spoof, and I thought it was funny.
Yeah, but again, I wouldn't call the Brady Bunch a sitcom, though. It's more of a family. I mean, it's a comedy, but it's.
We meant, it depends how literal we want to go.
Do you think Happy Days would have worked as a film?
I guess. I don't know, man. It didn't work as a film. American Graffiti.
I've had this idea for a while that that there should be some director out there that's got to be good at what he does, but takes shows like really dumb 70s and early 80s, maybe, and late 60s comedies, pure dumb comedies, and turns them into like these dark movies. Makes
Right.
2-hour dark movies out of them. I
And
think that'd be awesome. Gilligan's Island as a dark movie would be awesome.
Well, wasn't the Addams Family an example of something that was a successful movie series? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's two of them. Yeah, and the same with the Flintstones. I mean, there's two of those as well.
Yeah. Well, and the Munsters an example of failures. This movie.
Yeah.
Every one of them.
Mr. Red Serial Killer. Oh yeah, well, there's a lot.
Well,
of
I mean, once that becomes public domain, I'm sure there'll be something out there like that.
Yeah, I still want to. I haven't seen Popeye the Slayer Man yet.
There's a great comic where him and Olive Oil, they're in hospital beds, and then Popeye's forearms are all of a sudden skinny, but Olive Oil's all of a sudden she has a large rack.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So Zeech Calzone.
Yeah.
Well, folks, this was a fascinating edition of our movie show, but I'm going to pull the plug on it because it's an hour, and I got to eat an early dinner. So we'll let you know when we do the next one, what time, what day, whatever, because I don't know when the next one's going to be. I got to figure it out yet. And no, I did not like. I thought that sucked from the parts I saw of it. Are you a fan of Popeye the movie?
I have very big nostalgia for that film. I do love the soundtrack. I love the film. I thought Shelley Duvall was the perfect.
He was, but
Olive Oil, and Robin Williams was a great Popeye.
Sure, I guess so. All right, folks. Anyway, have a good movie time. Enjoy your movies. Let us know what you watched if you want to come here next time, whenever it is. And we'll talk to you maybe sooner rather than later this time. You never know. Cheers, everybody. Thanks, guys, for being here on the screen, too.